Hey guys, thanks for joining us today. We have an exciting presentation for you this afternoon. It's called Big Changes to AdWords, What You Need to Know, and thanks for joining us today. Here's our, today's presentation, by the way, is brought to you in part by PPC University, and that's just like a free educational resource that we have here at WordStream for learning all about everything you ever needed to know about search engine marketing. And you can visit there if you're new to paid search. You can visit www.wordstream.com/learn. Wow, we have a big webinar here today. There's actually a risk that we're going to not be able to, we're going to overload our GoToMeeting software here today. That's kind of a first because we don't have enough room here. No kidding. I know we always say that it's like limited space, but really this is like a system limit. But anyways, we're hoping to have a lively discussion on Twitter, and to help facilitate some of the activities. You can include the hashtag WordStream and maybe even tag me in your tweets so I can see them. And we're going to be giving away two $25 Amazon.com gift cards, one for the best tip from the session and one for the funniest tweet. All right, so channel your inner searcher nerd and see what you can come up with for a funny tweet. All right, so on the agenda we'll be kind of following sort of the outline of the presentation yesterday, but providing additional insight and additional details that we're able to share with you today. Just a couple important points here. Whenever you see a double rainbow, what does it all mean? That means that this is not official Google data or information. This is more just analysis from me and the WordStream team. So that's kind of the opinion. It's more subjective, where that double rainbow isn't there, then that means that's like official, like the official Google information. All right. Just introduce myself here. I'm Larry Kim, founder of WordStream. Started the company about 6 years ago. Been doing paid search for almost 13 years now, and that's kind of what I do. And about my company, just briefly. We're a search marketing platform company, software company, founded about 6 years ago in Boston. We're like a Inc. magazine 184 fastest growing private company in the U.S. last year. Winner of various awards for great software, and we're best known for kind of our PPC advisor, PPC management platform, as well as our free tools like the AdWords grader and our keyword tools that are completely free. So I hope you can check that out. Before jumping into the presentation today, I thought we could just ask the audience one poll question here, and that is, does your company have an app yet? And Chris, I know we were having some issues earlier. Are you able to launch these polls?
Yep, Larry, all set. It's on the screen right now.
Awesome. So the possible answers are yes or no. It's either one of the things on our to-do list, or no, we're not interested in building an app. And the reason for this is because like a third of the announcements yesterday had something to do with building in apps. Chris, if you could just close the poll and announce the result.
Yep, Larry, so it looks like 19% said yes, 35% said no, but it's on the list of things to do, and 46% said no, and we're not interested in building an app.
Okay, so 19% said yes, though, right?
Yep, 19%.
Awesome. Okay, so great. So let's dive in then. So everyone loves progress, but nobody likes change, and so I think this adage is kind of very, very true whenever Google announces major upgrades to AdWords, and if recent comments on Twitter over the last weeks were kind of any indication, you kind of get the sense that Google was gearing up to really take away your lunch money and cause you like a bad day. And then, what, for whatever reason, search marketers, I think, they seem to have this kind of inferiority complex, seems like we're kind of on the lookout for ways that Google is trying to screw us over. And here, like, these are my peeps. They're like friends from PPC chat. I love these guys, and they're my peeps. But I do think some of the anxiety is sometimes makes us a little silly. Like one guy wrote an article on keywords might be going away, or other people were afraid that maybe Google will steal the device management stuff, like the bid modifiers. People being afraid of what this announcement is how it's gonna cause some account destruction or something, and really just there's, as yesterday's announcement demonstrated, there's really no need to go into panic mode. I don't think it was necessary. Just at a very high level, there was a couple of reasons why I think we should just chill out here. First of all, what we're getting here is a completely optional, non-destructive update, meaning like there's no, forced migration or upgrade that you have to do like you had to do last year, which was kind of like a once-in-10-year event kind of thing. That's not, I mean, yes, that happened last year, but that was very unusual, I would say, and so. Additionally, there's some really cool, innovative new features that I think will help a lot of advertisers manage sort of increasingly competitive and complex campaigns, and there's a lot of new functionality for managing huge enterprise-level campaigns. And so, as for the timing of the new features, like when can you get your hands on all the stuff that we're going to be talking about, Google tells me that they're all in private beta currently, and that you can expect some advertisers to get access to these betas within this quarter, some next quarter, but all advertisers hopefully can expect to get access to all of this stuff by the end of the year. So I would think of this more as a preview of things to come, as opposed to like some kind of a forced migration deadline like we saw last year. All right, so basically there's kind of three categories of things here, in terms of the three buckets of new functionality that was announced. And the first one had to do with innovative new ad formats. And so so far on Google Play, 50 billion apps have been downloaded across 1 million different apps, and as a result, apps are becoming an increasingly large part of this landscape. And from a consumer perspective, I think that people aren't necessarily looking for apps; they're just looking for solutions for their problems. And so, what Google is trying to do is come up with some kind of a way to help users just find the information that they need, rather than worrying about whether or not it's in an app or in a mobile website. And so clearly apps are very important in terms of delivering great user experiences, but I think that marketers sort of face challenges in terms of driving awareness for their apps. Oh, we just hit the limit here. No more attendees allowed, it says. Wow. So it says, yeah, where was I? It's like the marketers have these challenges in terms of driving awareness, kind of driving installs, and engagement for their apps. So essentially, yesterday, what Google announced was sort of this new way to help app advertisers, get exposure to their apps across the entire Google network, including search, display, and YouTube. And so let's start with sort of this discovery and installation component. So the first new feature was that the keyword planner is going to provide app keyword suggestions, apps based on what people are actually searching for in the Google Play Store. So for example, say you're an advertiser, they kept on using the hotel advertising examples here, and say you're an advertiser like Hotel Tonight, and you want to advertise for queries on Google.com. Well, Google will now look into the data from the Google Play Store and kind of see what are the keywords that are generating the most app installations for this particular category. And so they'll now be able to give you this data, and this is new. They'll suggest you the keywords, specific which ones to use for your apps, and you can use that to drive more downloads. The second, another interesting feature here has to do with app promotion. Also, it wasn't a new format like this. They had app promotion ads in the past. However, it was only available for Google search. So you couldn't run an app promotion ad format on YouTube or throughout the Google Display Network, for example. And so what's new here is that now you can do this. And one of the really cool new things about this particular kind of app download format on YouTube or Google Display Network are that it comes with new targeting parameters that you can come and target people who might be interested in your app. So now Google is saying they can help you reach the best user for your apps based on usage statistics and in-app purchases. So say you wanted to drive downloads for a calorie counting app, you can specifically target your ads to people who've, say, installed a health or fitness apps or running apps. And I think this is a really big deal for a couple of reasons. Because by our internal estimates, this is not an official Google number. I believe that there's somewhere around 25 billion ad impressions happening, on the Google Display Network every day, and I think that's a big number. And now you can go after those potential customers. Hey, Chris, is your line muted? I'm just not hearing you here.
Hey, Larry, can you hear me now?
No, but yeah.
People are just having some problems actually viewing the slides. Can you just make sure that the screen's being shared?
Jeez. I think it's just lag because there's so many people on the call today that the system is just choking. Yeah, so just moving on here. Sorry, guys. This is an unusual situation here. We do these every week here. But basically, we're talking about the YouTube as well. So YouTube already has like this true view video format, and it's very popular. It's kind of like that. It's like a trailer at the beginning of a YouTube video. And what's new here, as you can see in the screenshot here, is that now you can promote your app alongside sort of these in-stream TrueView videos, and they can install them. Like there's an install button here, and again, I think this is huge because by our internal estimates, we think that there's something like 2 billion video views per month on YouTube. 40% of that's coming from mobile, so that means a lot of opportunities to connect with potential customers. Now, some of you might be wondering, like, how does this new app kind of ad targeting work? Like, how do you target people who are installed a fitness app or something like that? And the way this works has to do with it's kind of similar to similar audiences targeting in the Google Display Networks, sort of how you can target people who have expressed interest in certain activities or hobbies or types of businesses. And that's how this is being rolled out. All right, so let's talk a little bit about app re-engagement. So basically 80% of apps that are downloaded are used just once, and so once your app is kind of installed on a user's phone, there needs to be a way to drive people back to your app. And so just like how you can drive people to specific landing pages on your website, Google has come up with a solution called the deep app linking, which allows customers to sort of find exactly what they're looking for directly in your app, driving more usage and more conversions for your business. And so going back to the silly hotel examples that they gave us, assume the user is searching for hotels in San Francisco and that you already have that app installed. See how the button here says open rather than install app. And so by clicking that button, it'll take you to the right page within an app, and that's like a more seamless experience. Google also gave a cool example of using the display network, and now the example they gave was, suppose you're just playing some video game on your on your phone, and you happen to see this ad for Hulu that's advertising a show called Deadbeat. So the ad knows that you can know what shows you've watched, and so it can then link you directly to the next episode in the series. And because this deep linking can go, directly to the most relevant page to the episode, to like, for example, the specific episode that you might want to be interested in watching, directly within the Hulu app, I think this is very powerful, and that the user can sort of start watching, with a single click again. And so this is a really great user experience from the advertiser perspective, and is definitely going to drive more usage. So let's moving along here. One thing I noticed in terms of the presentation was that Google sort of changed some of their constant connected world marketing boilerplate. That's kind of really annoying, but it's sort of the preamble that they use for every one of their posts. And basically, what they've done is they've just added, if there's one key takeaway here, AdWords isn't about devices. It's about connecting people to the content that they care about online or mobile sites or in apps. So it seems like they seem to think that apps are a big deal. And so that brings us to sort of our analysis here. What does it mean? How does this all work? Why is Google doing this? And why the heck would they lead an announcement with apps? Because like only 19% of you have apps. And I think what's happening here is that whatever it was that you used to look for on Google search is now often being looked for directly via an app. So like, if it was movie tickets or looking to buy specific products, app usage is skyrocketing, and so apps are stealing the attention of search traffic. And so, well, not stealing, but it's kind of, some of that attention is shifting. And so web traffic, I think, could potentially slow this year, like in terms of, we're spending so much time in apps, the time spent on the web could actually decline, this year, or definitely it'll slow this year. And so, with all this activity happening in apps, and so naturally, I think Google sees this. They're thinking like, we really need to dominate sort of this app store marketplace. And unfortunately, Apple is sort of kicking Google's butt here. And we have some stats here. Google Play brought in about $1 billion of revenue last year, but that's only 13% of Google's haul. Even though Android sort of has a 75% market share for users. Google has a larger install base, but the Apple App Store has more apps, less malware, has more sales, more developers. I think really what's happening is Google is trying to turn this around because it's almost like a 10-to-1 difference in terms of the amount of money being generated from a store. And lastly, it's worth pointing out that the Google app formats, they've been around for several years now. I think they haven't worked very well at all. And what I mean by this is they've shared with us that the current Google App Promotion app formats has generated just maybe around a few 100 million app downloads, but there's been 50 billion apps installed to date on Google Play, and so that's less than 0.5% there. And so, I don't think that's a really significant number in terms of driving app downloads. And so I think Google just basically has a lot of catching up to do here. And so that's kind of our take on why this kind of dominated the first half of the presentation. Let's move on to sort of the second bucket of features, which was sort of grouped into the category of reporting. Google announced some really exciting new tools for measuring the value of mobile ads. Now, the desktop world, it was just so simple. You could just go to a website, you could convert on the website, and you were done. There was like none of this, constantly connected customers where sales would start on one device and complete on another, or people would just call in and then complete an order over the phone after seeing an ad, etc. The accurate ROI measurement is clearly much more difficult today than it was just 2 or 3 years ago. And so last year, Google announced something called estimated total conversions, allowing you to estimate the conversions for your ads across multiple devices, as well as conversions that happen via phone calls. Now, this isn't new. You can actually log into your AdWords account and add these columns and look at them right now, just this moment. And honestly, there's not a heck of a lot of information out there that kind of Google doesn't really explain exactly how this data is these magical numbers are computed. So on one hand, I certainly kind of question the value of this, but I do agree with the general premise that Google is trying to solve here, is that that advertisers tend to underestimate the value of mobile because it is so ridiculously difficult to measure. And so so it's not just about it's not just about tracking the cross-device conversions. It's also about, and not as well as the call conversions. Google is saying that advertisers would like to know how to track offline transactions, so like people actually walking into stores. And so Google made a pretty interesting announcement regarding a new feature called estimated offline conversions. And now, what is this? It's some kind of a tool that magically tracks the impact of your online ads on your in-store sales. And so what they said was that they're working with a very small number of customers on this project, and the details are very hard to come by. But what I can share with you is sort of a high-level basic picture of how Google would allow you to estimate the value of or the benefit of your online ads on your in-store purchases. So basically, they said that they're working with just a few people. I think they mentioned Express and Michaels, and basically at a high level, you've got these two parties. So you've got AdWords on one hand. They've got a they've got a great information about kind of your identity. Who are the people who are clicking on the ads and who are seeing the ads? They know your identity because you might be logged into search, and they have all this other information about you. On the other hand, you have stores like Express, who have customer purchase data. That's because they know that you purchased something. And there's also third-party companies out there called like Axicom and DataLogic Holdings. These types of companies have treasure troves of information about kind of what you've purchased in the past. How do they know this? They run like loyalty cards and marketing programs, the stuff that where you do something and you scan a little thing and they track your purchases that way. And so so what happens here is that the data providers, they'll be, or the vendors, they can compile names, emails, addresses, and information, purchase information of millions of customers, with their in-store purchases history. Now, Google, of course, knows the identity of their users. They know your email address, they know what ads you've viewed online, but they need to connect the dots with the data provider and stores. And so to avoid breaching sort of personal privacy, what Google does is they don't directly share your information. They use an algorithm called hashing. It's where they scramble your personal data into sort of these random number string using a computer algorithm. And because both companies are going to be scrambling, like hashing the same information, information about a specific customer can be assigned based on people kind of having a match. And so it's not an absolute measurement. They're not actually trying to count up the full number of purchases that happen. Rather, it's a sampling. So what Google does is Google takes the matched anonymous profiles and then divides them into two groups. One group of people who've seen the ads or clicked on the ads, and the other group of people who haven't seen the ads or clicked on the ads. And by looking at the difference in terms of the amount of purchase activity, you can sort of come up with a relative estimate for like the impact of your ads on in-store purchases. And so this new pilot program dubbed in-store attribution transaction reporting in AdWords, it's basically that's kind of what this is all about. You click on an ad, Google will send this anonymous click ID to the advertiser. It's encrypted, tags the user via cookie. Days or weeks later, the person might buy something at the retail store. The company then hashes the customer purchase data and looks for a match. And the bottom line is that Google can magically tell advertisers sort of which ads generated, how much in-store sales. And I think that's I thought that was very interesting. In terms of like what does this all mean? Well, I think this is a very interesting way to estimate the value of in-store sales. If this works, this will be very powerful. Google they were very explicit about their objectives for this particular program. They said it has to deliver, great consumer value, must protect user privacy, and deliver actionable, insights to search marketers. And so, I can definitely see how such a system, if this works, would be very powerful. So the third bucket, and third and last bucket of features and functions that were announced at this little junket, yesterday, was clearly targeted at enterprise customers. I'm talking like the big Fortune 500 or Fortune 5000 customers who spend potentially hundreds of millions or even $1 billion on AdWords. And then basically Google is looking to make life easier for some of these companies with massive campaigns. They want to help advertisers manage the complexity of these campaigns. And the first, like, this is kind of like a menagerie of stuff that's coming out there. The first one they talked about was bulk actions, and I thought bulk actions was pretty interesting. Basically, say you want to upload or change or enable or disable hundreds or thousands of campaigns all in one shot, rather than having to click on a bunch of things in the AdWords interface. So what they're showing here is that you can now just upload changes and do things in bulk, which was definitely a key requirement for large advertisers. One of the interesting quotations from the presentation here I have put on the screen here was from the main presenter was Jerry Dishler. He's the VP of products at Google, and I thought it was very interesting that he said the following. He said, "Many of you have told us that working with AdWords is just too complicated and that often you have to use offline tools such as AdWords Editor, spreadsheets, in order to deliver a large number of campaigns. With bulk actions, will allow you to do this directly within AdWords." It kind of seems like they're making AdWords Editor, they're putting it in the list of things that you shouldn't have to use, like offline tools, spreadsheets, and there's AdWords Editor right in the middle here. And so that made me think, kind of like, what the heck is this kind of the end of Google AdWords Editor? Because I know bulk editing is sort of like a top 2 use case for this tool. Again, this is just sort of my take. They didn't announce anything specific about this, but it does make you wonder, like the wording of that. I wouldn't be surprised if this tool, was retired in the next year or so. Like, why do you need an offline editor in a constantly connected world? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. All right, so let's move on from the bulk editing and talk about automated bidding and bid management. So Google has announced 2 specific new bidding strategies that are going to be part of Google's Flexible Bid Strategies framework, which was announced last year. So first is the ability to automate bids and maximize for the number of conversions. Now, this new bidding option is called Max Conversion Strategy, and you're probably wondering, well, how is this any different from Conversion Optimizer, which is already in AdWords? Well, the difference is, first of all, this is part of the flexible bid strategy framework, so you can set it on any campaign or any or even at an ad group level, which you couldn't do with Conversion Optimizer. But more importantly, the difference here is that Conversion Optimizer was based on setting a CPA goal, like cost per action desired target, like $30 cost per action. This new max conversion strategy does not require you to set a CPA goal. Rather, you just don't set anything, and Google will just try to find the most conversions possible. So I think that was kind of interesting and differentiated from their previous thing. The second bidding tool that was announced has to do with the ability to automate bids to maximize revenue. It's this ROAS, which stands for Return on Ad Spend. And so, say you're a retailer who just wants to, sell. I don't care about conversions. I care about the most sales. So this is a way that they can do this through automated bidding, and it's apparently new. Fortunately, I don't have specifics on that particular bidding option. Now, again, one of the interesting quotations. Like a lot of this has to do with just listening to what Google is actually saying here in these presentations. And one of the interesting things that I noted yesterday was that Jerry mentioned, quote, "Our goal in automated bidding is to bring enterprise class solutions, for every advertiser directly within AdWords. We want to deliver state-of-the-art biddings, that was once available in only available in third-party tools, to all advertisers in AdWords." I took this to mean that they're specifically taking aim at some of the more enterprise third-party management platforms like Kenshu and Marin, which both are great companies. They both offer spectacular, robust bidding solutions, and to be clear, I consider them great partners, and I think they have a ton of value, particularly their cross-platform nature. You can do stuff on Bing and other platforms. But nevertheless, the wording of this particular announcement led me to believe that perhaps Google is chipping away at some of that value by perhaps implementing finally some more bid management enterprise quality features. And so I wasn't the only person to notice this. Yesterday, Twitter, not just my opinion, Twitter kind of lit up yesterday, and everyone seemed to come to the same conclusion as they were talking about these these things. And I love this one from Melissa. This is their kill Marin Kenshu portion, or shots fired at Marin or Kenshu, with these new automated bidding solutions in AdWords. So just some community reaction there. And so moving along, the third kind of new feature that they announced had to do with sort of advanced reporting. So obviously search marketers, they spend a ton of time in spreadsheets, analyzing data, looking for opportunities to optimize your campaigns, trying to understand the data, and unfortunately a lot of this time is spent sort of on the mechanics of getting the data out of AdWords and into a spreadsheet. And so that can be quite a pain in the butt. If you're doing this multiple times, it gets very tedious. And so Google showcased this pretty cool new tool. It's a new reporting tool and analysis reporting and analysis tool integrated in AdWords that lets you do the types of analysis that you would do in Excel, including this cross-dimensional analysis that is like typically reserved for pivot tables and spreadsheets. You can now do this directly within AdWords. Here's kind of a screenshot of what it looks like, and you see how the user is just dragging and dropping, different attributes and metrics into a table. And one of the interesting elements of this new reporting tool is that it's a multidimensional analysis tool. So look how you can sort of group and subgroup metrics and attributes, sort of in any way you want. And I think that's a really key advantage of this type of reporting is that, as I was mentioning earlier, you're plugged into live AdWords data. You don't have to spend a ton of time importing and exporting data in and out of AdWords, and the changes. Like say you wanted to change your report to I don't know, group by week or something, I don't know, instead of month, you don't have to you wouldn't have to re-export your data. You can just fiddle around with your data cube here, and so it just makes it easier for people to find sort of whatever it was they're looking for. Another cool thing about this particular announcement had to do with sort of integrating the charting capabilities and graphing capabilities, such as pie charts and bar charts and bar graphs, all the stuff that you typically do in Excel, you can now sort of apparently do in this new AdWords reporting tool. And again, one of the kind of cool sound bites that I was able to capture from the presentation from Paul Fang, the director of product management at AdWords. He said that we know that a lot of you spend a lot of your time in spreadsheets trying to understand your data, but we also know that you spend a lot of time trying to get your data into that spreadsheet. So he was talking about like what a pain that was, and so to me that led me to believe perhaps that they're going after Microsoft Excel, and maybe they would prefer that you could just do the work directly in AdWords without having to go to Excel. Wow, that's like a pretty crowded tombstone, a graveyard of things that Google is going after. There was one last feature here. It had to do with drafts and experiments. And this is kind of based on this idea that it's often hard in AdWords to kind of know whether or not a change that you hope to do will have the desired impact that you want it to have. And so say that you're looking to try out this new bid strategy and you're thinking, should I do this? The reality is it's very difficult to know because there's so many different variables that come into play. And so this is where this kind of new drafts and experiments tab comes into play. Basically, as you can see here on the right, it's kind of a pull-down menu where you can stage and test different drafts, and experiments before fully committing to them. So it would just like pick a new keyword expansion or a bid strategy. Basically, it looks a lot like the regular AdWords interface here, except that I can switch to the draft mode, and any changes that I do here, it's just in a draft format, so it's not live. Maybe I need to review them with other people and improve them. But one cool thing that you can do here is that rather than just approving them directly, like going from draft straight to the campaign, you can turn the draft into a campaign experiment. And so this is what a campaign experiment looks like. Sorry for the poor quality images, but basically why this is important is that you get all this additional metrics. You get these tools that are sort of going to compare the results of the experiment against the original campaign. And so now you have actual results, and you can make a determination whether or not you want to go through with this. And you can specify like 20% of your traffic you want to send to the experiment, or whatever you want to do. That's now possible, and this is sort of like kind of a souped up version of something called AdWords campaign experiments that's been in beta for like 3 or 4 years now, and this looks a lot more interesting. Why are they doing this? Paul just said we think that it's going to help marketers make more data-driven decisions, which will ultimately make you more successful. And basically, I agree with that. And I think that Google sees that there's competing ad venues out there, and I think they just are looking to make this as powerful a platform as possible. Let's just summarize here sort of the key points of the announcement, and I'll have a couple takeaways here. Basically, we talked about this sort of mobile app madness. There's this new app install format that's going to be on YouTube and the display network, and you can now deep link from all of these ads into your app. So that's kind of cool. We talked about this kind of way to estimate, measure the value of your online ads on your in-store purchases using kind of like this data aggregation stuff. And then we talked about these enterprise, Fortune 500, Fortune 5000 SEM tools for the most elite advertisers out there, bulk editing, enterprise bidding, advanced reporting, and this notion of drafts and experiments. Here are a couple key takeaways from the announcement. The first is just like, do you have an app? And if you're one of those 19%, I think your life has just become great, because you've just got tons of new things that you didn't have before. And that will make your life easier. Currently, all this stuff is just on the Google Play Store, so like it doesn't work on iOS, because obviously, if you're trying to target based on like app installs or in-app activity, they can only get that out of iOS because they own iOS. I think Google is saying that they are hopeful to do some more stuff with other platforms in the future. If you don't have an app, well then it doesn't impact you, but certainly the trend seems to be that people are looking for information and stuff in apps, and if you have a company that does specifics, that does a lot of search traffic, I think you should definitely consider making one. Another key takeaway has to do with sort of like, AdWords complexity. So, are you a full-time enterprise search marketer? What I mean by this, are you working on a large account, and is it your dedicated job to do sort of search engine marketing and stuff? So I felt like a lot of the stuff like apps and in-store measurement and all this crazy, bidding and stuff, I think it was all geared towards super powerful users, and if you're one of those people, I think life is great because you just got a bag of new tools that you can try out and play with, and try all sorts of crazy things. If you're a smaller business, or perhaps you're a marketer with other things to do, like you have to do blogging or email marketing, or paid search is just like one of 10 things that you do, then I actually think that life got a little bit more complicated. Why? Because suddenly you have basically 10 new things that you need to learn, and you're probably struggling with like the 1,000 things that they released last year. It's just a challenge, and it just doesn't get any easier. And so this is the last takeaway here. It's kind of my favorite takeaway, and it's just Kiana saying it's no longer about devices, and that's just their silly slogan that they use. But yeah, they're just saying it's all about trying to connect with people at different times of the day, based on their context. So, what are they searching for at what time and from what location, and then they're calling that user context. And there's Keanu. He's like, I can't believe it. Me neither. Okay, so that concludes sort of the update there. I just wanted to talk a little bit about WordStream here, if you would. First of all, we have a really cool offer here. It's for a WordStream AdWords performance grader, and the way this works, it's like a free instant audit for your AdWords account, and it's so cool because it benchmarks your performance based on other kind of similar companies within your industry, and other companies that are like similar in size and spend as your business. And so it's kind of like Zillow for like where I want to see comparable houses within a neighborhood with 2 bedrooms or whatever. Like, we can benchmark your PPC performance against your industry and your size, and it'll give you a good idea of like how your click-through rate stacks up, or how your activity compares against other competing advertisers. And this is completely free. You can go to www.wordstream.com/Google-AdWords. We also created another free offering. Again, this is totally free. It's called a landing page, AdWords landing page grader. Again, what this does is it kind of analyzes the performance of your landing pages, your desktop landing pages, that is, and just benchmarks the conversion rates against similar companies in your industry, and provides actionable recommendations on how to improve your conversion rates. And I think this is really interesting because people always ask me sort of what is a great conversion rate to strive for, and you can now find out www.wordstream.com/landing-page. And of course, we do have one paid product offering. It's called the WordStream's 20-minute PPC Workweek. It's kind of like the opposite of everything that we've been talking about today. So everything that we've been talking about today is ways to do more, is to spend like 40 hours or 50 hours a week on paid search. Like, you can slice and dice the data in 20 different ways instead of just 2. There's new ways to look at it and then visualize the data. Well, WordStream is actually the opposite. We're kind of more like a TurboTax for AdWords. And so what this does, like with this 20-minute PPC work week, we're a little bit different from like Marin and Kenshi. We're not an enterprise tool. We're more focused for small, medium-sized businesses, and kind of what it does is it just analyzes your account and kind of figures out the low-hanging fruit. It realizes that you don't have all day to spend on paid search, so it just gives you like 10 things to fix like this week. And it's so easy. You just review them and approve them, and spending just a few minutes a week, it'll definitely improve your return on investment in AdWords by 20% or more. And no, we didn't get that from Geico. www.wordstream.com/ppc-free-trial to give that a try. At this point, I just wanted to throw up an offer here. Would you be interested in any of the following offers? The first is a live demo of the WordStream PPC Advisor, the 20-minute PPC Workweek. And Chris, are you available there? Are you able to open the poll question? Or?
I am, yep. Well, thanks, Larry, and thanks, everybody, for all your questions you're sending in. We'll hop into Q&A in a moment here. I'm just going to pop this poll question up, and if you would like to take us up on one of these special offers, just select the one that best fits you. We have a free live demo of WordStream's PPC Advisor, and that's the 20-minute PPC Workweek Larry was talking about. We have a free one-on-one AdWords grader walkthrough, and that That's essentially that AdWords Performance Grader report. Once you run that, we'll actually have a PPC expert here at WordStream walk you through the report with you. Or you can sign up for WordStream's weekly performance tip emails, or the last selection there is nothing at the moment. I'd just like to let everyone know that we will be sending out links to the slides and recording. I know a lot of people had some issues today with the slides advancing, so don't worry, we got your back. And I know that we go through these webinars really quick, so we always record these and we send them out to everybody. So everyone, you'll be able to check it out on demand. And we'll send that out probably, I would say, by tomorrow. So thanks again, Larry. Let me just hop right into we got tons and tons of questions here, so I'll try to answer, try to go through as many as we can. The first question here, Larry, are these features already available to all accounts?
No, as I was mentioning earlier, all of these are in private beta right now. This is just a preview of things to come. Some advertisers will be able to access betas within this quarter. Even more will be able to get it within 2 quarters, and everyone should hopefully have this by the end of the year.
Great. On the reporting tool, can you track the display network by website conversions?
On the reporting tool, I mean, they show pretty much every attribute and metric like in that page. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to slice and dice by any available metric. So yes, I think so.
Great. Now, Larry, at the beginning of the webinar, we had that poll question that asked the audience if they're using an app right now, and half the audience, said they don't intend to create an app. Is there any reason why they should take advantage of that?
Wow, so like you absolutely should be considering, like depending on your business, of course, but I think that you absolutely should be considering building an app for your business. Think about your own consumer behavior, like how much time do you spend like in apps versus like search surfing the web or whatever. Like I used to look for movie tickets online. I now get that in an app. I used to book travel and cars and all sorts of things on the web. I now do that on my phone. Like there's entire classes of types of businesses where web traffic is being eaten up by apps, and instead of having to for people to go through Google to get access to this information, they can bypass Google and go straight via the app. And so I think if you're smart, it would be a great strategy. And you're hardly like trailblazing at this point. Like God, there's like 1 million apps in the Google Play Store, and even more in the Google in the Apple Store. But it's not breaking new ground here. But I would think that that this is something worth depending on your business, something worth pursuing.
Great, thanks, Larry. Our next question here is, so a lot of these new releases, it seems like the capabilities are more relevant for larger size companies. What's the benefit for small to medium sized businesses with these new features?
So this one was much more, like I said, if you're an enterprise user, you're just really happy with these really powerful tools, but small businesses aren't even using the half or even a tenth of the tools that are in AdWords already, and the less sophisticated ones, the ones like these are like rocket science, like the ones that I'm thinking of are like negative keywords or like much more basic lower hanging fruit. And so there definitely is a disconnect here, like that I kind of view all of the features and functions here that were released yesterday as being much more applicable to very large companies or full-time search marketers. I don't know if there was as much for a small business. Like I actually think that your life gets a little bit more complicated even because there's so much more things and it's just hard to learn.
Awesome. Thanks, Larry. Our next question here is, with the advanced reporting capabilities, is there an ability to export a user-friendly format for clients that work in an agency?
They didn't show that, so it would seem, I mean, the only reason why, yeah, I mean, that seems such an integral part of the workflow. I can't imagine that they wouldn't forget, that they'd forget about the ability to share a report with somebody. So I'm going to just go out on a limb here and say yes, but I don't have, like, unfortunately, I don't have definitive proof.
Great. So I think we have enough time for one last question here. So the mobile ads on YouTube with the install option, this attendee is asking, I'm guessing that will work for Google Play apps, right? Or will they allow those kinds of ads to promote iOS apps?
Exactly. So this is a very, very key point. All of this, app stuff, like the full first third of the features, this is all Google Play and Google Play only. So this is only going to work on Android phones, and it's only going to work for Android apps. And I think, like I was saying earlier, the kind of the strategy here is they're trying to get more app developers, engaged with the Android platform and the Google Play Store. And they're trying to get more sales. Like, it was like Apple was getting 10 times more sales than the Google Play Store. So I think what they're trying to do is make this a more compelling offering. And initially, it's only going to be available in Google Play. However, they called it quote, a Google first strategy as opposed to a Google only strategy. Their hope is to be able to offer this to other platforms in the future, but not at this time.
Awesome. Thanks, Larry. If you would just want to bring up your slide deck there.
Okay, so I'm just gonna thank everyone for joining us here today. Let's see if I can maximize this. Great. Thanks again. This is really fun. We had so many people here. Sorry for everyone who wasn't able to get in because it was full. We'll try to get this recording out to you ASAP, and have a great day. Thanks.